This combo gets a little tricky if you're not careful. The first measure is simple enough. Pick the first note, then hammer to the next two. In the second measure, you pick the third fret and hammer to the fifth fret. Then you have to pick the second fret of the third string. For the third measure, return to pick the fifth fret of the fourth string, then pick the second fret on the third string and hammer to the third fret. Take this technique and application combo slow at first, and once you get used to it, you'll find that you can achieve some lightning fast runs. The names of the notes and the fingerings for these positions are the same as you have learned in section 3 of this video. The only difference is they are played 1 octave or 12 frets higher in pitch. To help you learn these new positions, try combining them with other scale positions in the natural scale. Also, try them out with your favorite rhythms, techniques, and applications. The opposite of a hammer-on, pull-offs are achieved by picking a fretted note, then pulling the finger that you are using to fret that note away from the fretboard at a 45-degree angle, producing a lower pitched note on the same string without picking it. The note being produced by the pull-off can be fretted or open. For this combination, pick a note only when you change strings. Use the hammer-ons and pull-offs for all of the same string notes. Again, a slide is achieved by fretting a note and sliding it without releasing pressure. You could slide up or down in pitch. Here we'll take the increments of 3 application, but apply it to one string and mix it in with the slide technique. So we'll start with the open A, go to B and C for 3 increments, then back to B on the 2nd fret, up 3 notes, back 1, back 1. This combination is great for working your way up and down the fretboard. By sliding to a 4th note on each string, you are moving up or down to the next scale position. This can be a great exercise to get to know the fretboard. Instead of starting on the 4th string for an ascending run, start with an open note on the 3rd or 2nd string. You can also move up to 5 or 6 notes for each string before moving to the next scale position. For a descending run, start above the 17th fret on the 2nd or 3rd string. The most obvious place to start a bass guitar solo is on the root note. But you can really spice up your leads by starting with a harmony note. For example, if you are starting a lead or a solo over a G chord, the obvious starting note would be a G note. However, you can make your leads more interesting by starting off on other root notes that make up the G chord, G, B, or D. And remember, you're playing in a key based on your scale. Any scale note will fit in a passing sequence. Most will work if you hold them for a duration. Just stay within the scale and you'll always be safe. If by chance you do land on a note that sounds off, quickly slide, hammer, or pull off to play the next scale note and you'll be just fine. This technique is limited to the electric bass guitar, giving it a violin or cello type sound. It is achieved by playing a note with your bass guitar's volume knob on off. Then increase the volume while holding the note. You can also use vibrato. And you could also incorporate higher notes. Music is made up of more than just notes. Sometimes the lack of a note can make a piece stand out. Just as there are symbols for the notes that you play, there are also symbols for the times when you don't play notes. These symbols are called rests. There are rest symbols for every note symbol. Here is a comparison chart for notes and their equal rests. In the first 2 measures, we have a whole note and a whole rest. Next are half notes and half rests, then quarter notes and quarter rests. Here are 1/8 notes and 1/8 rests, and 16th notes and 16th rests. Here are some basic rhythms, combining notes and rests. Repeat each rhythm over and over again until you are comfortable playing it. At first, apply each rhythm to one note. When you can play a rhythm smoothly, then apply it to chords and multiple scale notes. Damping is used to end the duration of a note being played. One way to achieve the damping effect is to hold the note and play it, and then lightly release the pressure of the note so that it stops ringing out. Another way to achieve the damping effect is to play the note, and with your free fingers of the playing hand, mute the string. Or you can play the note, and with your picking hand, mute the string. So there are a lot of different ways that you could achieve the damping effect. Harmonics produce a chime-like sound. It is achieved by placing your finger just above the indicated fret on the string you are picking. Do not apply pressure to the string, and do not allow any other fingers to touch the string. In fact, after the harmonic is picked, you can pull your hand completely away from the string. Natural harmonics can be achieved on the nut or open notes, and I'll show you an example. Listen to the string open without the harmonic. You see how bright and tinny it is, and look what the harmonic does to it. You move up to the 5th fret, 7th fret, 12th fret, the 17th fret, 19th fret, and the 24th fret. Take some time to experiment with harmonics above other frets. You will find that you can achieve harmonics in other areas on the string. However, they will not sound as clear as the notes that have been given. Artificial or pinch harmonics can be achieved by fretting a note and with your picking hand, allow the edge of your thumb to touch the string when you pick it. This will produce a higher, squealing pitch to the note that you have played. The picking hand or palm harmonic can be achieved by using a finger or the palm of your picking hand to lightly touch the string 12 frets above a fretted note while picking that note. So here I'm fretting the 5th fret on the 4th string, and with my index finger I'm lightly touching that same string 12 frets up on the 17th fret, and I'll use my middle finger to pick behind it. If I run through a scale position, I'll have to move my hand to go along with what I'm playing with my playing hand here. The other way to achieve this is to take the palm of your picking hand and lightly rest the palm 12 frets above your fretted note. And that allows you to pick the note and still achieve the harmonic because your palm is touching the harmonic spot. You can also achieve these type of harmonics on other areas of the string. Most noticeable harmonics are produced 5, 7, 12, 17, 19, and 24 frets above any fretted note. Tremolo picking is achieved by picking a note rapidly. Tapping is achieved by using the index or middle finger of your picking hand to tap or hammer onto a fret, producing a pitch. And then you can pull off to a fretted note or to an open note. The musical notation for tapping is a plus sign or the letter T. If you play the bass with a pick, that's when using your middle finger to tap comes in handy. If you pick the notes with your fingers, then it'll be easy for you to incorporate both tapping with the index finger and the middle finger. That's helpful if you start to tap on 2 different strings. In this example, we will move our tapping finger from string to string on the 7th fret while our fretboard fingers play the same notes. In this example, we will move our tapping finger while our fretboard fingers play the same notes for each string. For this technique, we'll tap the 12th fret notes, pull off to the open note of each string, and then throw in a scale position in between. So we'll start with the F scale position, then next on the same string we'll throw in the G scale position, tap the 12th fret, open, A position, 12th fret, open, B position. Then we'll move down to the 3rd string. For the tap-pull hammer technique, we'll tap on the 12th fret and then pull away to a scale position, pull that away to the open position, and then return with a hammer on. Frets. There are 2 ways to tap harmonics. First is to tap the way we've been tapping, where you hammer onto the fretboard and you pull off to a note. In this case, we'll pull off to a harmonic. You can also tap harmonics for a fretted note. This is achieved by tapping the fret wire 5, 7, or 12 frets above a fretted note. For example, we'll fret the C note on the 1st string, 5th fret, and tap the 10th fret wire, or the 12th fret wire. This tap hammer technique is applied so that the tapping hand follows the fret hand as it moves down in pitch in movements of 2. Here are some ideas to consider when you're tapping. You can leave your fretboard hand in the same spot, but move your tapping hand to new positions. Use your tapping hand in the same fret, but move your fretboard hand. You can lengthen or shorten the distance between your tapping and fretboard hands. There are an infinite number of possibilities when it comes to tapping. Spend some serious time exploring the possibilities of tapping. Use your own creativity to combine scale notes, different strings, techniques, applications, rhythms, and even picking techniques along with your tapping. String bending is a technique used to alter the pitch of a note by bending the string with your fingers. To apply this technique, allow the thumb of your fretboard hand to hang over the neck of your bass guitar, above your middle finger. The note you wish to bend should in most cases be fretted with your third or ring finger, and you could even put your middle or second finger behind it for assistance. As your fingers get stronger, you may not find this necessary. You can also use your index finger to lay across other strings to prevent stray notes. To stay in key when bending strings, you must bend in scale are made up of half steps and whole steps. A half step is equal to 1 fret. If you are playing the natural scale and you want to bend the B note, you would bend the note up a half step to sound a C note. Note up a whole step, you would be playing a C sharp, which is not in the key or the scale that we are playing. Technique with many applications. You can create several interesting phrases by bending a single note. Release the note. Bend and release is where you bend a note to raise the pitch, and then release the note back to its original position. Rebend, where you bend a note before picking. While letting it bend and release, where you bend the note, pick the note, then steadily release the note while letting it ring out. Also the ghost bend. Pick the note with the bass guitar volume off and increase the volume while you bend the note. A note that is three scale notes up in pitch from another scale note is called a third. A third harmony is when you play these two notes together. A note that is 4 scale notes up in pitch from another note is called a fourth. A note that is 5 scale notes up in pitch from a root note is called a fifth. For this application, play the 3rd scale note, 2nd, then 1st, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 6th, 5th, 4th, and on through the scale. This application is written in 3/4 timing. For this application, we're going to pivot from our root note or our starting note all the way up to the octave. So we'll play the 1st scale note, then the 2nd, pivot back to the 1st, then the 3rd, 1st, 4th, 1st, 5th, and continue this pattern all the way up to the octave, and then we'll move on to the next scale note. playing 3 scale notes per string, play the notes on the 4th string, skip the 3rd string, then play the notes on the 2nd string. Next, go back to the 3rd string, play the scale notes there, skip the 2nd string and play the notes on the 1st string, and then reverse. More on a shape. This pattern is based more on a shape than anything else. Starting with any scale note, count that as your 1 note. Then play the 5th scale note above it. Play the 3rd scale note. Then the 2, 4, 6, then 5. Again, here's what we've got. 1, 5, 3, 2, 4, 6, 5. Now we'll start at the 3rd string and take the 1st scale note from that scale pattern and count it as 1 and apply the same pattern. 1, 5, 3, 2, 4, 6, 5. Now we'll start with the 1st scale note of the 2nd string. Congratulations! If you have followed this video course from the beginning, you have achieved a great playing ability as well as a great level of knowledge on your bass guitar. If you haven't already exhausted yourself trying all of the techniques and applications in every scale position, I strongly suggest that you do so. Each and every new technique or application you learn can be explored for a lifetime. There is no limit. When you push yourself to your limits, you will broaden your horizons. That is how new styles of playing have been created. That is what makes a player one of the greats. If you are dedicated to music, in this case, bass guitar, you will greatly benefit by playing these pieces not only in the positions which I have presented them in, but also in other scale positions you have learned, and later to the other keys and scales in the remainder of this video. I also recommend using your own creativity to come up with your own combinations of notes, techniques, applications, and rhythms. Once again, pushing your limits will broaden your capabilities and make you a better bass guitarist. This applies to anything in life.